So many of you who, well, all of you who know me know that I'm a pretty CDO kind of guy, right? That's, for those who don't know, that's OCD, but alphabetical, the way it's supposed to be. And I always carefully write out my sermons, and I did today as well, and I left it on my desk. So I'm going to wing it. I'm trying to remember what I put down. I'll give the gist of it. Please forgive me. The parsha is Vayikra, and he called. And actually, it begins kind of mid-sentence. It picks up exactly where the very, very last verse of the book of Exodus left off, which is where the Mishkan was completed. Moses kind of goes there. The clouds of glory descend. And then immediately, as the book of Vayikra begins, it says, Vayikra el Moshe. God called to Moses. So what is the nature of this calling? How does God call to Moses? And I mean, really, how does God call to any of us? There's a hint, though, I think, in the verb Vayikra. Vayikra, again, means, and he called. Forgive me, you know, I usually don't like to translate language in a non-egalitarian manner, but it's very important here because Vayikra literally means, and he called. And this verb form, this exact same verb form, for 15 points. Now, I can't hear you, so you're going to have to be on the honor system. So if you get this correct, you get to give yourself 15 points. What is the first time that God calls to Moshe using this exact same word? If anybody knows, raise your hand. It's a tough one. All right. Think back, the very, very first time that God called Moses at all. Where was that? At the burning bush in Midian, right? Moses is minding his own business. He's tending his flock. He sees this miraculous sight. He stops. He turns aside to see. And then it says, Vayikra elav. God called out to him, mitoch hasneh, from within the bush. So I like to imagine, because now it's just over a year and 3 months later. A year and 3 months since Moses first got this call from God. And now we finish the Mishkan, we build this dwelling place for God among us, we build this holy center of our community where we're to be together as a holy community and we're to meet God, call out to God, and God called to us. And I have to believe that Moses, when he heard Vayikra, it reminded him of that very, very first moment that God first called out to him. But this goes back even further. So now this is a really tough one, but for 50 points, and again, you're on your honor system, what is the first time in the Torah completely where the verb Vayikra, and he called, is used? Anybody think they know? Sue, do you know? Vayikra Elohim La'or, and God called the light. God called day light. God, were you right? Yes, Sue, 50 points. Yes. The first time we hear that verb is when God dreamed existence and light into creation and spoke light into being. So when God is calling to us, and when God is calling to Moshe, Vayikra, 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 it's that immediate, it's that initial light. It's the first light of creation that God is spreading and shining, and that it's our job to take and spread that and shine that. And there's an interesting thing, and I'm going to give you a little grammar lesson. I apologize. For those who were taking Fred's Hebrew class, is Susie with you, Alan? I know Paul might remember this. Okay. Ancient Hebrew does not have past, present, and future tense the way we think of. It's called an aspected language. So you might use a word that that in modern Hebrew would be very much be future tense, but you would use it in the past. Vayikra is a perfect example of it. Vayikra in modern Hebrew means he will call. But it's used in this sense in the Torah that he did call. God called in the past sense. But why does Hebrew use a future tense verb in the past? What it does is it indicates ongoing, continuous, infinite action. Action that's not yet done. So when God, Yikra Elohim, or when God first called light, it's a future tense verb. When God called Moses, it's a future tense verb, even in the past, which means this calling, God calling to us, is ongoing. It's every day. The light is spreading. And we need to be reminded of that, especially now. We're in our homes and it feels dark and it feels cramped and it feels like the light has just gone out of the world. And we need to remind ourselves that that's not the case, that the light continues to shine, the light continues to spread, and it will get better with God's help. We call to God, God calls to us, and this is part of the mutual agreement and our mutual pact. And just to remind ourselves about this dark place, when we sing the Psalms of Hallel, we say, Min hametzar karati ya. There's that verb again, kara. Min hametzar karati ya. From the depths of my despair, I called out, karati ya. I called out to God. And what happens? Va'anani, va'merchav ya. And God answered. Keep calling. Thank you for calling in tonight. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.